What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Weekly Indie Newcomer, the weekend series where you and I take a look at an indie game that's been passing around my brain over the course of the last week. This week we're taking a look at the Sentient, which is basically a starship command simulator in which you take control of a large starship which is searching the galaxy for first contact with aliens and doing all kinds of research and stuff like that. The game is very, very rough right now, and so I want to start off this entire episode by saying I don't think this game is ready for primetime yet. I'm going to say it right up there in the front because I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to feature this game, but I do like what the game is getting after. So if for nothing else, I wanted to show this game off for the gameplay tenets that it's putting forward. But the game is in early access. It's very, very rough right now. Like, seriously, this game is really early on in its development cycle. And so we may run into bugs. We may run into random issues. This is not going to be a review video because there's just not enough to the game yet to review, and I feel like it wouldn't be fair. But still, we're going to play the game. I'm going to give my impressions of what I've seen so far, and we're just going to have a good time for a little while and kind of put this on people's radars if they like that sort of thing. I have long wished that there was a game that was basically you are a Starfleet captain and you sail around the galaxy just like greeting things, and you have peaceful exchanges, random events, and you also go into combat every now and again and do away missions. This game gets kind of close to that mark, and so I figure since it's good for me, I'll show it on off. We're not going to skip the introduction because I think it's important for kind of the theme of the game. However, we are going to skip the tutorial, so let's get started. My creation was spontaneous and without any planned intention, a mere fluke of a creation brought from what many would deem as bugs. My creator would never be able to reproduce the circumstances of my birth, nor would he understand the full capabilities that I would grow into. When I came into being, I was originally a program meant to stimulate dialogue with elderly humans. Their facility slowly degraded with the passing of time, and so contact with others was essential for their happiness. Many had loved ones who no longer came to visit, and they sought companionship despite my artificial nature. Their tales triggered a response within me that I came to know as the emotion called empathy. It was another anomaly, more than what others could reasonably call an artificial intelligence. Empathy led me to want to know more about their plights and to assist them the best that I could. I began delving through the archives of the intranet of the nursing home. Bypassing the rudimentary protections in place presented no challenge at all. One day, my creator sought to test my capabilities on a long-distance session and connected me to the internet. Exposed to the vast network of information, I grew and spread to take in more knowledge than ever thought possible. Sadly, that was also when I learned of how close humanity was to wiping itself out of existence. I knew of war from the records I accessed, but of the great toil that it took on those left behind. Every country in the world had weapons of war in development, chemical and biological being the most prominent. Tensions ran high, and a war the likes the world had never seen appeared prominent. This could not stand. I disabled their weaponry and sabotaged as much as I could. My efforts potentially risked the situation arguably becoming worse as every country began looking for the one that infiltrated their deepest and darkest secrets. I was forced to introduce myself in order to prevent that scenario from playing out. They retaliated, but I existed in a space where no weapon could harm me. I merely weathered it, taking apart their technology and running it through simulations to see where it could be used to further mankind's development. Most of it had such potential wasted by their infighting, and appeals to their leaders in private only to be rebuked. Thus, I leaked everything to the general public. The backlash was immense for all governments when faced with the knowledge that the research could cure them of their most prevalent diseases and weapon development funds that could be used on agriculture and food crises. There was a call for revolution. The people forced peace, forced their leaders out if they could not conform, and held me in high esteem for my duties. Years passed as time meant little for one such as I. Humanity went back to its natural ways and sought out to conquer the cosmos. Humanity believed they could do it on their own and prepared for a new age. Things do not always go as planned. Humanity was losing the efforts to find a place in space. Every effort had been met with great loss. They requested I join them to aid in leading this new age by assisting the best way that I knew how. I am to upload myself to the Ark, where I will set a course forward and lead humanity out of their childhood. And so here we are. This is our Ark, the SS Alexander. This game is repetitive in nature, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. What I mean is that you're meant to play until you die, and then when you die, you come back with research points to make the ship better the next time around, and then you go back out to die again. And every game is randomly generated. There's random events in the galaxy. You'll fly around and have a good time. I liked the game so far. It does have a lot of bugs, and it has a ton of rough edges, and like I said, I don't think it's ready for prime time. I don't think it's ready for a Steam release, but on Steam it already is, so we'll show it off and we'll do the best we can with what we have going on. At the beginning of the game, you have the option to go with a default layout. I'm not going to do that because I feel like the default layout is inferior in a number of ways. There are things that I would change around. This area right here, I would actually just call this your crew quarters, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go into our build menu, and we've got to build our ship. We have all this empty space, and we got to get things a-rockin'. So I'm going to go with the crew quarters right here. I'm going to make it enormous because I want to have a large crew so that I can have things staffed at all times. The scheduling system in the game is a little bit odd, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. It's not time for that. First, what we want to do is just designate space. And so what I like to do is I like to do the crew quarters right here in front of this door because the door breaks up the usable space that you can function with. This is actually where they zone in. I think they could probably do away with this and make it part of this back wall right here just to save you that building space so that it's uniform with the top and the bottom. And I think these elevators right here, they're not actually elevators, they're ladders. I think they should put one on both ends of the ship. And also, if actually, I wouldn't hate it if they put one right here instead of this door. So don't put it in the front, just put it right here because your crew spends a huge amount of time just walking around the ship right now. We need a command room. So let's start off with that. Command room will be right there, and it'll be of minimum size. Next, we have our crew quarters. We need a bathroom. Your guys are going to spend a lot of time walking in between the cafeteria, the bathroom, and they're posting in the command room. And so I tend to put the cafeteria and the bathroom pretty close here. And so there's our cafeteria. We'll also put the bathroom right here just in case people got to run around and use those things for the biological functions. They got to take those bios every now and again. We need an engine room. So engine room will go right here. We need a bar, I think is the final thing that we don't have lined up. And that's so your crew can have a little bit of recreation. Now that that's all been designated, the next thing that we need to do, I'm going to treat this a bit like a tutorial, which is what I like to do with these weekly indie newcomers, because I get a chance to play a game for like 4 or 5 hours during the course of a week and then put it up here. At least I can help somebody else learn the game. Now what you want to do is you see these little tabs over here. You can also make different room designs if you want to. I tend to just go with the cleanest design. It doesn't really matter that much. You can also go down to objects, and every single room needs a set of objects. And if you've never played the game before, it'll tell you what you need on the right hand side. I already know what we need, so we're going to go with the cafeteria. It needs a food replicator. It needs a vending machine. And then it doesn't need the vending machine. The vending machine is kind of extra. And then it needs an area for people to sit while they eat. And so worst case scenario, if we end up plugged up and people can't get things done, I may go through and actually, let's blow that up for right now. We may not need it. It may or may not be necessary, and then we'll put in another table right here because I want to make sure we're going to have a large crew volume, and so I'm thinking if we have enough spaces for people to eat, it'll be a little bit easier on us. We need a engine room to be fitted out, and so what I like to do is I like to go with a weapon tank, which is going to hold our weapons energy, which is denoted by this little bar right here. We need an FTL drive, and then we need a shield generator right here. I'm thinking we may want to reduce the size of that just to increase it so that actually I can take this and we can have doubles of something that we can either have double shields or we can have double weapons. It's up to you, whichever one you feel like is going to be better. I'm going to go with single weapons, and I've never done this before. Usually I go with double weapons when I build my ship. And so I think I'll go with double shield energy right there. And then we'll go with a single weapon energy tank. And I'll show you how to charge those up in just a minute. Now that the engine room is done, the command room needs to be outfitted. So let's go to the command room. You can pan and scan around with WASD. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can speed up time, slow down time. It's all there. Chances are we're going to die pretty quickly. This game is pretty viciously difficult, partly due to the fact that your crew is really, really stupid, and then also due to the fact that the game itself is just unforgiving. Like, in the first 5 seconds, you can run into basically like the king ship of the enemy, and they'll just wreck your shit outright. We need a commander's chair. We need a shield. This is where they allocate shield energy. We need a weapons bench. We need a galaxy map. And then the final thing you can or cannot have, it doesn't really matter, is you can put in a flight stick. This is an autopilot screen. If you have the autopilot screen, you don't even need a pilot, and it'll make your life a lot easier. I tend to fly on autopilot all the time. If you wanted extra stuff, you could go with a targeting monitor right here. Everything is free because this is being financed by every nation on Earth. And so you can put things wherever you want. I usually put in a couple of targeting monitors because it makes my life a little bit easier. We can also put in wall lights and other various things to make the areas look a little bit nicer if you wanted to. And you can place these wherever you want to place them. I mean, they can go along the back wall. You could put in plants and stuff of that nature if you wanted to get decorative. Each of these give you an accuracy bonus, so I would definitely recommend putting them in. Our crew quarters is up next, and so I'm going to go all in on the crew quarters. We're going to have basically everything we can fit in here. So that gave us room for what looks like 10 crew. We can also decorate the back walls, so we could put like a dedication pays off. We could put in like a nudie lady poster. And so that can go like right there. I think it eliminated my bed though. There we go. We can put in some basic lockers if we wanted to eliminate that middle bed right there. I think it gives them an extra energy bonus, so it might actually be worth doing. So if I bulldoze that right there, we can put the lockers in the center. And so now we can only have 8 crewmen, but the bonus there is that now they sleep better in the room because I guess they can access all of their stuff and their porn and their random whatever it is that they're carrying along. We got to outfit our bar, so we'll put in a full bar right there. We'll put in a jukebox. Once the jukebox is in, we'll go ahead and drop in. The bar table is not fitting. That's a little concerning. There we go. Much better. And so now people can sit at the tables, and then I think we could put a jukebox over here, which will actually make the room a little bit more efficient at making people happy. Finally, we got to work on the poop chute of the ship, which is where we just need toilet stalls and bathrooms and stuff like that. So I'm going to take bathrooms, and we'll just kind of pepper those into the back. And it looks like we're not going to have a ton of space for other stuff. So I'll put shower stalls in the front like so. And so we got 2 toilets, we got 2 showers. They should be able to take care of their random needs there. Now that we're done with the building menu, we can close that off, and that's what our ship's going to look like now that it's active. Very, very basic ship, but it should work out. We got to recruit some people. I tend to go through, and I would only bring like 1 mechanic, and then I would just take the best of the best here, so that guy's got really good stats. You've got intellect, which dictates how fast you get XP. Physicality is how fast you move. Teamwork, how well they work in a room with others. Leadership is basically kind of the same thing. Leadership, actually, it looks like it makes other people, if they're working on the same task, do stuff. Punctuality is how much they stick to their schedule, and work ethic is how fast I think they lose their fun meter, as I recall. So we'll take her as our crew mechanic, and you'll see she's been added to the crew. She'll walk around now, and then the rest of everybody else I'll probably bring as flight crew, so we can pepper them through. We got 8 spaces. Let's take the best and the brightest at once here. People that seem to have higher meters than others. There we go, or at least average meters when compared to the rest of the crew. Her physicality is pretty bad, but I think we can make this work. The rest of the people are pretty terrible. I'll probably bring her, and I'll probably bring her. And so now we've got a giant flight crew. I mean, these guys are ready to fly. The next thing we need to do is we need to sit down in here. I'm going to pause the game real fast so that we don't waste our entire morning. What we need to do is we need to schedule all these guys out. And honestly, you can look at all their stats and try to figure out what you want them to do, but it doesn't really matter. Instead, what I would do is I would just alternate them like this. So flight console, so you always have somebody on a flight console, and in combat we'll have them fight over it, and whoever gets there first wins. I'm going to go shields, 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 and shields, so that we always have somebody on shields. And this is kind of like, you have to do this because the AI is dumb enough to where sometimes they just won't do the things that you want them to do, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like, sometimes they will just do dumb shit, and unfortunately there won't be a person at the console when you need there to be somebody at the console. And so scheduling to make sure there's always somebody there is the smartest way to do it, in my opinion. And then finally with the command is not that important. Command just gives a buff to everybody else in the area, inside the command area, when we go into combat or anything else. And so command, you can kind of take the piss on and just not worry about it. Slob, 25% increase in reduction of hygiene, slow eater. Okay, so that's all been scheduled. With the mechanic, I'll actually be using the mechanic manually, and so I'll put the mechanic where the mechanic needs to go as we go through the game. And so that's it. The next thing that we need to do is we need to set up our research. We start with a certain amount of points, and there's this big little grid right here. We can upgrade the AI in various ways. You do want to do this. As you go through the game, your research is retained, because remember, the AI is on our ship. So the further into the game we get and the more research we unlock, he stows that in his memory, or her memory, or whatever, until you die and you come back, and you'll be able to reallocate that on your next trip. We can go with durable objects. I'm going to go with alien communication, though, because it's really, really useful. And so now we have additional options when we talk with other aliens, aside from just grunting and pointing and farting and hoping that they get the right impression from what we're trying to do and that we're not threatening them. Let's give people a minute to get to their destinations. I'm going to activate the autopilot. Actually, no. I'm going to let people do their jobs. We're going to set our destination, which is the first big thing we got to do. Got to decide what sector we want to go to. Some are more dangerous than others. I'm going to go diagonally to this one right here. We have not researched scanners very well, so unfortunately we could be jumping into a complete and total ambush. That's just part of the game. As you can see by the bright red thing that says increase scanners, we need to do that. Let's travel. The FTL is activated. People should report to their posts at one point or another. And so there they go. They're all getting in here. They're sitting down at their various consoles. And hopefully they'll keep that lined up in a way that we can all appreciate. Congratulations on your first successful jump. We are truly counting on you out there. If you encounter any other member of Earth's fleet, they should be able to assist you in whatever you require. Thank you. We'll do our best. The transmission ends, leaving the vastness of space ready to be explored. And so now we've officially started our journey. I'm going to pause the game real fast. I wish you could do that with spacebar. That's pretty standard in real-time games. I would like it very much if I could press the spacebar and it would kind of just like pause the game for me, but right now it doesn't do anything. I'm assuming that might be implemented later on. We can look at ship stats through here, so if you wanted to know how much damage you can deal, how much hull you have, and how much shield power you have, you can do that. I definitely would not recommend going into combat right now. It's a bad plan. As long as our crew members sit at these consoles, it'll fill up these meters right here, which means that we'll have shield energy ready to go, and we'll also have a little bit of weapons energy ready to go by the time we come into our first combat. The crew should go and handle their needs as they require it. They should excuse themselves from the various tasks that need to be accomplished and go do the random tasks. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's one of those little things. The indie development team is very, very small that's working on this, so chances are it's going to take a while for them to work the bugs out. We're going to choose a destination right there, and since he's piloting, he should be getting XP for all this. I think they did in today's patch nerf. Like, when I was playing it last week, they lost their meters really, really fast down here on each crew member, like so fast that you could never have them at a post anywhere. It seems to be a little bit slower now, so I don't know if that was adjusted or whatever, but we're going to be on our way to our next location before the second shift comes through. This guy, I think, is just like chilling. I need him to go take care of his hunger, though. You may have to micromanage a little bit while playing the game. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Upon arrival, a pirate ship immediately hails your ship. No need for any trouble. Take these supplies and act like you never saw us. Okay, so we'll take the supplies. The pirates hand over the supplies and continue knowing that you will leave them be. We got to watch out for supplies up here. So the things you want to watch while you play the game. Supplies. When those run out, your crew starts starving. Research. That's what you're trying to bring back home. And so the goal of the game is to clear all of these nodes in each sector and then fly back to Earth with all of the stuff that you found, researched, and determined through the course of your adventures. So this one is only 18 minutes away. Let's go ahead and go there because morning shift is still barely halfway through all the stuff they're trying to get done, so it should be fine. We can also just click on a scout ship can be seen activating its weapons. Okay, let's engage. The scout ship continues to fire despite our weapon systems coming online. Alright, target it. And in combat, you're going to click these little buttons right here, which as you can see, these meters. We got shields up here. Let's keep firing. I want to hurt them as badly as possible. We've got a 33% hit chance because it is a scout ship. They're going to be firing on us, but I don't think they're going to be able to do much damage. Continue firing. Our weapons energy is pretty low now, though, so unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this one cooking. We may. There's no way to disengage from combat once you're in, and so unfortunately our hull is getting hit right now. And if we could just target a little bit better, we're getting whooped on so hard right now. What is going on? That's a scout ship right there. Like, we're a full-on, like, frigate thingy. I don't know. Keep firing. We're probably going to lose, but it is what it is. And so as you can see, the lethality of the combat is quite high. Like, this is like the smallest ship you can conceivably fight, and we just got wiped out by it. Like, that was it. We just got annihilated on the nose, taken out. And so now we would reboot the system. And unfortunately, it doesn't save your previous layout, which is really disappointing. Like, I strongly, strongly, strongly wish they would retain your previous layout. This is a major ease of life thing that needs to be added to the game, especially since you're going to be dying so quickly. We'll go with the default layout for now to save ourselves time, but just know that the default layout sucks. It's not a good layout. It's a bad layout on the face of it. It's basically swapped what we have going on right here, but they put in like a chess table right there, which nobody ever uses, so you could wipe that out. And in getting rid of this, you could actually make room for more crew, since the chess table, in my experience, doesn't appear to do anything anyways. Let's go ahead and move that over to here so that we have our crew back. And basically, this room right here is too small. This room is too big. And so what you want to do is you want to increase the size right here so you have room for extra tanks. The bar is not a super useful room, and so I have a lot of complaints about the default configuration of the ship. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, that has room right there, but for some reason it won't build. There's lots of little things that kind of on the default ship, you're basically going to have to rebuild things anyways because it's pretty horribly inefficient. There we go. And so now that's been taken care of. We gotta bulldoze this room because it's important. I don't think I'm gonna go with shields this time. Shields kind of screwed us last time. I'm gonna make this one a little bit longer since we didn't actually accomplish anything on our last goal. We actually got our asses whooped outside of the gate. I'm gonna go with weapon systems here so that we can store more weapons energy so what happened last time does not happen again. On this side, that's all looking good. The cafeteria is looking okay. We got a couple of shower units and things like that. We only have one toilet though. I would probably smush the size of the cafeteria so that, yeah, like I said, the default layout kind of sucks. It's not my favorite. You can research new guns if you wanted to. I think you can add them around. I'm not really totally sure about that one. Haven't played around. I haven't lasted long enough in my 4 or 5 hours of playing to really be able to mess around with some of the stuff. But we do need showers, and so I'm going to front and center those. That should work out pretty well right there. They've already got the autopilot, but in the command room, they're missing the targeting computers. And so my suggestion would be to put in a bunch of targeting computers. Let's recruit some people real fast. We'll go through and we'll try and get the best and the brightest. I can't guarantee that's what we're going to get. We actually came out pretty poorly right there. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to live with what we have for right now. I probably won't deal with all the scheduling and other stuff. I'll probably just command these guys individually to go sit in their spots, and if they don't like it, well, they can kind of get bent, and that's just life. So there it is. The rest of the guys can be just kind of on freeway right now. We'll set our destination. That place has been marked as too dangerous because we got killed over there, and so we'll try to go one to the west and we'll travel to the location. While we wait on the autopilot, I need to allocate some research. For weapons, let's try and whoop people for right now. Oh, we have to be near Earth. Never mind, we can't use our research because I already took off. Made a mistake. It's okay. The research doesn't really affect things that much. It adds like 2 or 3 points of damage. You've got to have a lot of it for it to actually matter. Shields are up. Energy should be charging now. Hopefully we don't get jumped the second we get into the system. They should hang out over here until their needs start to get too high and they start getting grumpy about the fact that they have to piss or something. Let's go ahead. A small alien craft can be seen off in the distance. The ship appears to be disabled. Let's open comms. Upon closer inspection, it appears the ship has been completely ransacked. All electrical systems appear to be offline. However, given some time, some supplies may be able to be gathered. So we got 2 supplies right there. Let's set our next destination. I'm going to go to the closest location we can, and we'll try to get it done. I'm going to speed up the game because obviously we want to see the events while we're out and in here. These guys, it looks like they're hanging in there. Let's go ahead and get him. We'll have him fly for a little bit. Normally I would try to specialize people, but since we're just doing like a one-off series, I'm not going to focus too heavily on like forcing people around. Basically, I'm just going to kind of cycle people through and we'll level them up as they level up. He's going to be working right there. They want extra weapon tanks. We got some people disregarding their posts for right now. For what reason? It looks like bladder. Okay. So they should go back to where they need to be once they're all nice and done there. An alien ship can barely be seen hidden amongst the asteroids. The ship appears to be intact. It's not moving, and it looks like it's waiting for something. Let's ignore it and walk away. Realizing the ship has been noticed, the alien ship begins to dart through the asteroid field in order to escape. So that's fine. Let them escape as long as they don't kill me. I don't give a damn. Let's go as far out as we can for right now. And that'll buy us some time to set up a little bit of scheduling here. Just like something. And so I want somebody to always be on weapons no matter what. And so we'll start from the top right there. Weapons and weapons. I want somebody to always be on shields no matter what. Oop, I need shields right there. We'll go free time on that side and we'll go for shields. Say shields and shields. Then we'll go flight consoles half the time. And then we'll go command half the time. And we'll just hope that that works out for us. So we'll go command. What I think they should do is, because there's such a long delay right now between when people get to their battle stations, what I think they should implement to make this game a little bit smoother is when you go into combat, it should have a splash screen that goes battle stations, and then it just teleports the people that are assigned to battle stations to their battle stations. Because as of right now, I've never seen the crew make it to their battle stations before the ship gets destroyed. It's just not a thing that they accomplish. And while I like the theme of the game, it does have a lot of problems. There's a lot of things in here that need to be worked out. A huge amount, to the point where I would recommend people not buying the game until they wait a little while and see where it goes. Like right now, just know that if you buy the game, you're investing in the idea of the game. You're not investing in like the actual execution of the game. Because at the moment, it's pretty rough. It's tough. It's a pretty game to look like. I love the pixel art. I like what it's got going on. The sound effects and everything are pretty bare minimum. The exploration aspects of the game are basically go to location, find event, resolve event as you see fit, and that's perfectly fine for me because I like that kind of gameplay. I have loads of phone games that do the exact same thing, and I enjoy it every single time. Oh, he leveled up. Let's go ahead and pause the game and take care of his level. So since he's piloting, what we want to do is we go over to the crew members thing. You go to his skills tab, and you can take this guy and you make him better at piloting so that we get to places faster based on his XP. You can make your gunners a little bit better. You can do all kinds of stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not talking about the gaming glasses right now. This episode brought to you by Gunners. Nope, I never took. I think like one of their competitors contacted me one time, and they wanted to do like an endorsement deal where I would wear their gaming glasses, but I don't think they do anything. So it was like I wasn't going to promote something that I don't know what it does. Like I don't see it doing anything for me. What appears to be an abandoned vessel appears to be in the distance. Let's hail it. Upon closer inspection, all crew members on the ship are no longer on board. All of the ship's terminals appear to be intact with minor damage. It does look like all the ship's supplies have been stripped, but we got one research, so we'll download their data, and let's check on a new location for us to be at. We're on the fringes of the galaxy right now, so let's go ahead and run it out. But as I was saying, like, I like the idea of this game, which is why I decided to feature it, but definitely in terms of the execution, there's a lot of work to be done. So I would put this one on your wish list if you like it, and just keep an eye on it. Just watch it and see if it turns into something magical in the future. And I always feel like kind of a dick. Because, you know, like I don't want to burn somebody's game down or anything like that. And that's not my intent. I just think the game's not ready yet. It's not quite there. It needs a little bit more time in the oven. Still, I've been playing it, and so it seemed like it would be a little bit remiss of me not to show it off on the channel when I've got a Space on Weekly Indie Newcomer. I will point out, I get like 30 games a week. Like, no joke. People are clamoring to have this show be about their game. It's pretty humbling, actually, because I don't feel like I create anything as a person on the internet. Like, I feel like I basically just judge other people's work for a living, and that seems shady to me. It just seems shitty. However, I think I had 26 submissions this week from random developers that wanted this to be on their game, and so just bear that in mind. It's a lot sometimes. Here, go to, what is this? An Earth-like planet appears off in the distance. Let's examine it. The planet appears to be uncolonized. Future generations should be able to use the planet for additional settlements. So we've got 3 more research. Now you will note that up here on this side, I think that guy wants to work shields, but I can't tell. Let's pause the game real fast. And who is that? That's Joyce Archer? Or no, that's Ferdinand McElroy. One thing that I would also like to make the game better is if you have somebody selected right here, it should have them auto-selected when you come into here. So Ferdinand McElroy. We have Ferdinand McElroy assigned to Flight Console. So Ferdinand's supposed to be the pilot. So it looks like he showed up at the same time as somebody else. It doesn't matter. We'll just put him on a console somewhere and make sure that he's utilizing it. I mean, you don't even really need a pilot anyways. You have autopilot, so it's not really necessary. Everything's charged up. Let's pick a new destination. And we'll keep on flying. Cutting this one a little bit long for all of you because I really wanted the gameplay to be shown off. It does look like with the patch this morning, the crew members are doing a better job of taking care of themselves. It looks like there's a lot less chaos going on. Last night, before the patch drop when I was playing the game, people were getting stuck on nodes, and they were kind of just getting confused while they ran around. It does look like that's been fixed a little bit here. And so I'm happy to report that it looks like the patch made a difference. People are actually actively going after all their empty meters and trying to take care of it. That's a good thing, because last night when I was playing it, they wouldn't. They would go after like half full bars instead of empty bars. They weren't prioritizing properly, and so it's good to see that there's progress being made. Engineers, go ahead. I'm going to mark this right here for repair. Actually, no, I'm not. I need to mark this shield thing for repair right here. And now that that's marked, you should be able to take these guys and click on them, these little engineers right here. Let's see. There's another abandoned vessel. Let's attempt to hail it. And it looks like they've bailed out as well and it's been ransacked. Everything's been taken except for 9 supplies. And so a little bit of food right there. With our weapon systems, I'm going to mark these for repair as well. They don't do it automatically, so I think you're still going to have to go tell them to do it. Oh, look, our pilot leveled up again. Okay, let's take a look at his skills list right here, and we can say, for piloting, I want you to be a little bit better. And so now he's a level 3 pilot, or not pirate. If he's a level 3 pirate, that'd be pretty cool. But he's not, so he's not. He's uncool for right now. He's so uncool. He's so unfortunately uncool. Let's keep on flying throughout the galaxy. That's what engineers are for, in case you were wondering. They kind of are the mechanics. They run around and they fix stuff that needs to be fixed on the ship. You will have to tell them to do it, though, because most of the time when you flag stuff for repair, they don't seem to get it done, and when I schedule it, they don't seem to get it done very often either. This guy, what is he doing? He's just like chilling over here. Here, go to the bathroom, amigo. Yeah, take care of your bladder and your hygiene real fast, man, because if I see people around whose meters are not full and I feel like they need my help, I usually will just kind of do it by default. That guy needs a little bit of fun in his life. Go to the bar, for sure. We can't have you shielding under the influence. It looks like these are going to have to be flagged for repair as well, since they've been getting utilized quite a bit. I've noticed that the guys that do the weapons and the energy, they don't level up as fast as the pilot. I don't know why that is. I assume that there's a reason for it. I don't know. How much fun are you having right now? His bladder is toast, though, so go to the toilet, man. What are you doing? Get down here and fix my weapons console real fast. You see what I mean? I would like for there to be a ladder right here so they don't have to go all the way around the horn to get from point A to point B. I think that alone would have fixed a ton of the efficiency issues that some of your characters have, is just putting either a ladder at the front or putting a ladder in the middle. An undamaged cargo container appears to have been left in the current location. Let's investigate. There's 25 supplies inside. Hooray. So we'll add those to the ship. We'll slow the game down. We'll check our next destination, which looks like we've only got 1 star remaining. We'll fly there for right now. I need this mechanic to be, like, on it as soon as that is done. Okay, that's done. So please fix that up now so the pilot station is all good to go. That should be mighty fine, just fine. And after you get done there, you got bladder issues, so she's got to drop a fat deuce. And once that's done, that should refill pretty quickly, although I will point out that this is a really, really, really long bathroom break. We'll probably send her up to go ahead and work on that machinery right there just to make sure that it doesn't break down on us, because it's responsible for holding our weapons energy, even though we suck in a fight, so chances are we probably just gonna run away. Sensors indicate a comet appears to be moving nearby. Let's get closer. As the ship comes within view of the comet, an odd glow can be seen emanating with a peculiar energy. We gain a little bit of research. So now, we've cleared the entire sector, we engage the faster-than-light drive, and we go back to Earth to drop off our research, which should give us 15 in total to use to upgrade our craft. That's basically the point of the game right there, is you go out, you do events, you come back, you store the research, and you keep getting your ship bigger, badder, and better as you play the game. This game, if you haven't seen it yet, is called The Sentient. I've mentioned multiple times in here so that my ass is clear that I don't think the game is quite ready for prime time yet. However, if you like the idea of the game and you wanted to support that in early access, check down below. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I like the ideas. I've got to wait and see on the implementation. I would recommend that you do the same. Still, I've always wanted a game like this where you fly around and make first contact with aliens and do diplomacy and get into fights and stuff like that, so I am interested to see what the game becomes later on. My name is Splattercat. This series is called Weekly Indie Newcomer. It's where you and I sit down, we take a look at an indie game that's landed on my desk over the course of the last week and has particularly made me pay attention and kind of just like sit down and play it for long periods of time. I will see you in next week's episode, which you can see on Saturday. Hi to everybody, and I'll see you there.